I'm glad to invite Toyin Johnson, my dear friend, an amazing coach. She'll be talking on networking and how to make those great connections. Believe me, you want to listen to this.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for coming. I cannot overemphasize the power of connection. Yeah. It helped me. It helped people around me. So I think you taking your time this evening to come here, it's not a mistake at all, and it is not a waste of time. Networking is not a waste of time. You're not making friends, you're making meaningful connections. That is the thing. Can I do without a microphone? No. I know they asked for that, but so my part is a very good segue from where Daily stopped. And he talked about mentorship. If you want to build a good network, you'll be looking for a few things. Is that you're looking for a mentor, you're looking for a sponsor, and I'll tell you what a sponsor will do for you and what a mentor will do for you. Hopefully I get to that. I get there. If I don't get there on my slide, because I don't have it on my slide, then ask me during the panels, and I'll be able to tell you. So let's go into my slide, please. What is your perception about networking? I am of a Nigerian descent. When I came here, I thought networking is manipulating people to get what they necessarily do not want to do for me. I thought networking was cajoling people so that they can like me. It is not. I thought networking was almost pleading for things. We come from a hierarchical mindset. We're from Nigeria. Some people are higher than others. Those are the people that are like, okay, if you want to do something, you come and wait in my office for 20 minutes before they see you. That is not networking. That is not building connection. Building connection comes with respect. And it comes with adding and receiving value. So I can tell you, my own perception about networking, that is it. I don't know what your perception is, but we can talk about what networking may do for you. Can I go to the next one? What is networking? I don't like to call it networking, and it's just because I don't want to attach too many processes and formality to it. Network is all about building connection. And when you're building connection, you're building meaningful connection. You're building connection with intentions. What do I want to connect with this person about? Is it about my career? Is it about my business? Am I looking for work? That I think this person will be able to find me a job. If I'm looking for a job in retail banking, will I be connected with my sister? If I'm looking for a job in pharmaceutical, I'll be connecting with somebody completely different because I need a different perspective. So at the end of the day, when you're connecting, connect with intentions. What do you want to get out of this connection? It's also about collaboration. What can I give and what can that person add to me? You cannot be a taker all the time. Nobody will want to connect with you. If you're only calling me when you want me to look at your resume, and you're not paying me for it, then it becomes a take thing. And I'll be more inclined to somebody that I know that I can receive value from. So for example, I have people that I connect with and I recommend books to them. I've read a book, and I've read about 3 books this month, and I can call them and say, you know what, I've read this book, would you like to actually look at it? Because I think it aligns with your interest. Those are the kind of things that you can add value to people about. Or you know what, there's another opportunity that, okay, I know may be of interest, but I know this person is looking for something. I'll connect with them about, those opportunities, and I collaborate. Networking is about communication. How are you talking to the people that you want to connect with? What language are you speaking to them? What cultural differences do you have that you need to respect? What are the boundaries that you need to stay within? What communication method did you choose, and are you following through? That is what networking is about. Can I go to the next slide? And I'm not going to forget anything because I have my notes. I want to make sure I touch on everything, and I'll still be within my 10 minutes. Okay. Where do you start networking from? If you are a comfortable networker, you can go all the way out. If you're new to a country, when I came to Canada, I started networking within my community, within my social zone. And I started by talking to people like, okay, Kemi, I want to network with somebody else. Would you mind doing a recommendation? Those are the kind of things that you need to take a look at. Who are you in your immediate cycle that you can leverage the experiences? And if you don't find anything, do they know the second person, the second connection that, you know what, maybe they can do an introduction. But at the end of the day, it has to be credible. Nobody wants to introduce anybody to somebody that is not credible. Yeah, I'm sorry. So if you are not the most comfortable networker, you start from where I just talked about. Networking is about, it evolves. You learn. You go as you get comfortable with your immediate network, your friends, your family, your husband's co-worker that can do something for you. Now you go to the next level. The next level are professionals within your area of domain. Maybe your boss. It could be your boss, it could be your friend's boss. But at that time, you're comfortable with actually talking about yourself. Dami talked about branding. With networking, you need to know who you are. You need to develop your unique value proposition. If I'm not following my slide, don't mind me. I have it here, and I'm probably, I think I'm doing good.
Self-appraiser, right?
Sorry?
Self-appraiser.
Self-appraiser, exactly, just because I know my slide. So you need to know your, I call it unique value proposition. What are you bringing to the table? Who are you? How are you branding yourself? When you're asked to introduce yourself, what are you going to introduce yourself as? Because when you're introducing yourself to that person you want to network with, everybody wants to be associated with a winner. Nobody wants to come and say, my name is Toyin Johnson, so what is next? I have to be able to tell them, this is what I've been working on in a broader scale, and this is what I'm looking for. Your unique value proposition is your elevator speech. Is when you meet anybody and you're talking about your career, and they will wake you up, tell you, what do you do? This and this and this is what I do. This is what I'm seeking to do, and this are my next steps. That's it. At that time, the person knows whether I'm going to be a good person for us to work together, or maybe not, because we don't really align. It could be on interest level. Maybe, okay, my sons play basketball. We can connect that way, and we take the relationship further. So it just depends on where you want to start from. Finally, when you want to network, you need to network outside of your comfort zone. You need to network in a setting like this. You need to go and walk up to people that you've never met before. You need to identify, you can't even identify people in this setting, but it's by talking. If I've never met you before, I want to know what you do. I want to know how we can connect and what can happen between us. So you need to network in a bigger setting, and join societies, go to seminars, put yourself out there. Be vast about your knowledge, so that when you're networking and the person, Dele talked about blue jeans, and the person is saying, blue jeans, maybe that's how you're going to connect. Who knows? It could be anything, but just be broad, and don't let's be in that small bubble that we only talk about soccer. I don't know soccer, but I know a little bit. But we need to broaden our knowledge, broaden the what we understand about Canada. Can we go? And yeah, go. we need to use social media. LinkedIn is there. You have to use it as a professional. Go out there, see what is there. I was working on a strategy, I'll say role, and it's kind of new to me. I've always been working on a project-based environment, but I got this job and it was just to work on strategy for the entire ITS for another bank. That is not a better bank. It's one of the best. So I was looking for somebody that could actually mentor me a little bit, but I couldn't find anybody within my cycle. I went on LinkedIn and I posted something and it says, I'm looking for recommendation for anybody in this role that can mentor me. Funny enough, Daily was one of the people that responded. So you need to use social media. The internet is there for you. If you don't find somebody around you, go and do a Google search. It's there. The information is there. Is now for you to now capitalize on what you found and dig deeper. How do you establish the connection? Approach your connection or get introduced. I already talked about that. If you know somebody that knows somebody that you need something from, you know what? Go and ask them. Sister, brother, please. I'm looking for work in CIBC. And I see that you're connected to that person on LinkedIn. Do you mind introducing me? Or would you mind putting my resume forward? I get a lot of messages on LinkedIn. I see that you work for so and so. And I see a role with, and would you mind putting my resume forward? I'm like, send me your resume. If I think your resume is good enough and I know anything around that role, even if I don't know, I can dig something out for you. There's no harm in asking. We don't have to be shy. We don't need to say, you know what, who knows? The worst case is the person will say no. You move on now. You carry your kangaroo and go to the next person. That's the thing. But you know what? You're shortchanging yourself if you're not asking. You're shortchanging yourself if you're not putting yourself forward. I was hired 4 times by the same VP. The first time I was hired was the only time I did an interview. The second time, it was a call. Oh, Toyin, are you available? I'm like, yeah, for sure, I'll go back. The third time, it wasn't a call from them, it was a call from me to say, hey, Jan, my contract is rounding up somewhere. Do you have an opening? I said, oh, yeah, by the way, I was actually thinking of putting a role up next week. Okay, that was how I got the job. She hired me again for the 4th time. The Better Bank wouldn't let you stay for more than 2 years if you're a contractor. So I'm like, okay, let me take a little bit of time off. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to unwind a little bit because I know she probably will call me back. That is the power of connection. You need to be relevant. Anything you're doing, be relevant. That boss is one of the people that I'll go to. I'm like, you know what, you look swamped. You just came back from Costa Rica and you have 1,700 emails. Is there anything I can take off your desk for you to get settled? When she hears my name, she hears solution. She hears somebody that can do things. You need to put yourself out there. Connection, networking will take you to places where your ability will not take you. There's so many qualified people around, but it is that person that they see as the person that can do the work that they will call. Okay. So I talked about getting introduced. You have to introduce yourself. What are you branding? Dami talked about branding. She branded me recently, just to let you know. Check me out, toyinjohnson.com. She did the job. She branded the Better Career. I had another business. She branded that business as well. In 10 minutes. Okay. She branded that business as well. So what are people seeing? What is your value proposition? I tell people I am a solution provider. When you see me, you see solution. When whatever you're looking for. I've worked in a project environment for so long. That strategy role I got, it was a lady I worked with at BMO. And she called me, Toyin, what are you doing? My contract was still running at BMO, but I didn't really like it. And she said, what are you doing? I said, I don't know. I'm here, the project is not really interesting. I said, would you like to come to TD? The bank. I said, why not? What is the role? I said, you know what, the role doesn't have a title yet, but I know you can do it. I said, okay. Do you have a job description? No. What do you have? I said, all they're looking for is somebody that work on the strategy. That was how I got that first glimpse at that job. If I wasn't networking with Kathy, she would never remember me. So, put yourself out there. And you need to get to know your connection. You don't need to be their friend. You don't need to go that length. But pick on the interest that you think is important to that goal. I have a connection and she loves to cook. I don't like to cook. I know how to cook, but I don't like to cook. But when we're talking about, oh, what meal did she prepare? I'm like, bring me some. Let me help you try it and make sure it's good. So at the end of the day, that's the level we connect on. And again, anytime she's trying another dish, now I started going to her house. But the relationship did not start that way. It started with picking interest in what she likes and her picking interest in what I like and us making that connection to say, okay, can we work together? Can we network? When she's looking for a contract, she's like, okay, I'm out there now. Everything I get, I send to her. When I'm looking for something, whatever she gets, she sends to me. That is how you make connection. When you've made your connection, you need to develop the way you're going to communicate. You have to be intentional about communication. You have to, whether by email, whether by phone call, whether you want to do lunch, brunch, you want to do formal or informal, whatever you've decided on or whatever will work for you, make sure you follow through. Networking is not a one-day thing. It's almost a marriage affair where you're like, okay, you know what, I'm going to connect with you on this level. As long as your goals still align, you know what, develop and nurture that relationship and keep going at it. Next one, please. What are the kind of gains that you have when you're networking? One, I have a first-hand glimpse to some roles. They've said that 50% of the roles that organizations hire for, they are not advertised. They are not on Indeed. They are not on LinkedIn. Look on LinkedIn, look on Indeed, but you know what? They are inside Kemi. They are inside my brother. Because he knows, he works with the organization. He knows when they are trying to hire somebody. And they can say, you know what, maybe you're the next candidate. You'll be exposed to hidden job markets. I talked about that one. You have an edge over the next person. If I have a connection and you don't, trust me, I have an edge. Good people know other good people. It's easier and safer to recruit an employee who by word of mouth has been recommended. If I know you can do the job and I recommend you, you have a higher chance of getting the job. It helps your possibility in this is the 21st century. It's like word of everything is fast-paced. If you're not running with building connection and making those connections, you know what, you're just going to be left behind. It shortens your job search. I can't overemphasize this. And can I go to my next slide and let me finish? On the networking strategies I already talked about, you're going to meet them, you're going to communicate with them, you're going to solicit their feedback, and you're going to make sure you're following through. I'll go to the next one. Okay. There are some unwritten rules that I really want to talk about. We're all Nigerians here, because this is Nigerian thing. There are some people we want to network with. We need to be aware of cultural differences. It's not everybody that is a Christian. It's not everybody that is a Nigerian. It's not everybody that is an African. Be aware of the sensitivity around culture and don't move past your boundary. Stay within that boundary and make sure, because it can easily allow you to lose that connection. If you come to my space and you disrespect my space, guess what? The next time you call me, I probably will just avoid your call and it will just go like that. Develop the relationship, nurture it. Can I go to the next slide? I'm not going to recap, we all know. And I'm going to end this with this. It is, job search is not about what you know, is who knows you. Who is calling your name? Who is putting your name on that table? Who is saying, you know what? I know somebody that may be able to do the job. Let's give that person a chance. And that is what you need to do. We're Nigerians, we need to put ourselves out there. We need to talk to other people. Don't only start with Nigerians, but don't end there.